Hello, welcome, Clint. Um, you are the author of two books so far. The first book you wrote is called Arthur's Fuzzy Mystery, which is
An-
available on Amazon,
yep,
right?
Anthony's Fuzzy Mystery. Actually, it's
Anthony, sorry,
yeah,
I knew it was an A.
yeah, it's close enough.
All right, and we're going to be focusing on your latest book, your newest book, which is actually the beginning of a series, and it's called Captain No Wise and the protector of the innocent. So let's just dive into it, Clint. Let's talk about the backstory and why you created this series and what led to the birth of this idea, and tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah. Way back. I don't even know how far back. Maybe 13 years or so. Um, I wanted to. I was intrigued by pirates, so I tried to do some research. And the way I do research is to listen to audiobooks, so I don't have to read. I can just listen while I'm doing stuff. Um, so I like that. So I had pirates on the brain, and my kids, when I was getting them ready for bed, and they wanted me to tell them a story, and I said, "What kind of story?" And they're like, "I don't know." And I'm like, "Well, what about pirates?" And they're like, "Sure." And so I made up this crazy, just mixed up story that didn't tie off at the end, but it was good enough for a 7 and 5 year old. And I didn't even know where it was going, and just making up names along the way and stuff. And I was done, and I thought, well, that's probably the end of the pirate saga. So the next night they said, "Tell us another story. What happens after the last story?" And I said, "Are you serious? You know how kids are. They're just so forgiving." So I just tried to tell another story and just didn't think it'd go anywhere. But as time went on, we actually had a pretty great tragedy where their mom, my wife, left, and Captain No Eyes stories became kind of a refuge for my kids to kind of put the day's events behind them, and it was um, just a way to. I found that I knew that they were yearning for those stories and yearning for a distraction. So I need to put in some serious time into this thing and make it worth it. Because there for a while, for a long while, all they look forward to is Captain Noah's stories at the end of the day. So I I used Captain Noah's stories to help them learn from negative events that had happened in their lives that day, or just a way to how to process the mess. And I'd also use stories and characters in the story to gently correct them and direct them in a way that they should go. And so that was kind of how I used it. And they had so much fun listening to it. But at the end of the story, they would get where I'm getting at and say, "Okay, I know what you're saying, but that was a really cool story." And so it just kind of went on from there, and went went excuse me went
Did you want to
for
get a drink of water? You could get a drink of water.
I don't have any water here. But
We're
so
in Arizona, folks. You got to understand. We got lots of issues with dust here.
yeah, there's it's we've had a lot of rain, but it's still a world of dryness out here for
Yeah,
sure.
it is.
um, but if I sound terrible, I could go hunting for water. I just uh,
It's fine.
so-
It's fine.
okay. we'll just plow through then.
We'll just keep going because I love this. I love the backstory. I love how this started, and I love that you're putting it to paper so that other people can enjoy and kind of read this with their own kids. I read the book with my grandson one night because he spent the night with me and he was afraid, and I think he was 5 at the time, and he was enthralled with the story. He loved it, and he loved. There's just something about Captain No Eyes, and um, that he's a hero to me. He's a hero. He obviously has a disability. Just give you a little teaser because his name is Captain No Eyes. So he's already starting
True.
off kind of with a struggle. But he's got some grit to him, but he's a different kind of pirate. So could you explain that? Like what makes him different? He's not your average pirate.
Yeah. Excuse me. He's actually didn't plan on being a pirate. Um, he's just kind of a guy that was looking for a mission all along the way and just didn't know what quite that was, and wants to help people, and he's a really strong leader, and he accrued a bunch of guys that will do anything in the course of following him. So um, they just kind of become pirates. So, but good pirates. And you mentioned his disability, which back in the day I was flying by the seat of my pants on naming him, and just him only having one eye, but I was able to kind of fashion it and make it a reason for it all. Um, but yeah, he has one eye, and his good eye, he doesn't see very well out of that either. So it's kind of a funny thing, but I know on the face of it he sounds clumsy, but he's really a strong leader that overcomes his not so good eye, and his men actually call him Captain No Eyes. So because he can't see real good out of the eye he has, so uh, he, that's just kind of how it goes. And but he's passionate about surrounding people around him and wants to lead and see people be rescued, and him being rescuing by his hand and his men's hands. So that's pretty much him in a nutshell.
That's what I love about him. I think that's what makes his character and this story so endearing. Um, because we all have struggles, and especially for us, our organization, we're serving people with severe mental illness who have no voice,
Yeah,
which this book is not about serious mental illness, but it's the heart behind it, and then also just teaching your children about how to work through hard things and help people that are in need. So I was just going to read this page. Just what you just explained is perfect. This is my favorite part of the book. This is right in the middle, and this kind of gives you a picture of who Captain No Eyes is. And this is my favorite quote. I think this will become a very famous quote one day. It's my mantra. I love this.
I
So
like
it says, No Eyes hustled back to his friends, having come up with a plan to bring water and food to all of them. Not only that, but he also informed them, Men, someone in that cave needs our help, he continued. We're not going to be like that steamship captain. We're going to make a good plan for food and water and a great rescue plan for our friend in the cave. Here's my favorite line. I refuse to ignore problems just because they could be dangerous and are hard to figure out. The men noticed No Eye's not so good eye had lit up with determination, so at once they became just as determined as their leader was. I love this. They want to follow him, not because he's perfect, not In fact, it's very humorous, but they really want to follow him. Because he's got courage, and these are the kind of things we want to help our kids with to have. So I just love the whole theme of this book.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And I don't want to speak for you, but what is like when you printed this? And by the way, the illustrations in this book are amazing. They are.
Yes, they are.
I'm gonna hold it up. I'm not technical enough to have like it in the background, but just, I'm gonna do the old-fashioned way. Look at that! It's just so beautiful. All the pictures are like that in this book. My grandson loved that. But what is it? Is there anything that you'd like to add? Like what do you want to help parents to inspire them to instill on their children through your books?
Yeah. So my goal for this book is to, well, first of all, I wanted my kids that are now grown to see what they heard in book form. But I also want to help or give parents an option to a bedtime option or just a teaching tool that worked for my kids, and they can read it and teach the morals and the ideas that they want their kids to carry out in their own lives and however they want to raise them. So
That's
um,
awesome.
it could really be, yeah, just a teaching tool and just entertainment, a distraction. Um, I the one of the goals of the book is each uh, each edition or each book will introduce a new person on the crew, and the name of that person won't be announced to the end of the book because I want the kids to try to figure out what is this character's name. And the reason I put it that way is because um, each character, aside from Captain No Eyes, has uh, a character trait as his identity. So, like Mr. Persevere or Mr. Self Control, they're the character's name and they're referred to as that, but they exemplify and they show that self control or perseverance as who they are. So, a lot of the what I tried to do is to show the kids this is what perseverance looks like because Mr. Persevere did this, or self control did this, or what have you, and it just kind of has in their mind what that looks like and what they can shoot for. And so each book will explain a character trait, and they'll be able to see what it looks like in the real world. So that's kind of that's me putting my kids to bed each night, and each book that we go through is based on something that happened to my kids that I'm teaching them through. And so that's the message. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. Um, and that's what it's all about.
I love it. Well, you do a really good job of that in the first book, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the books. I want to track with Captain No Eyes and his adventure. So so Clint, I know your background and I know your faith. How would you how does the gospel inform your writing and these stories? How does that, because I know that's something we've talked about that before.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It informs it a great deal. Um, I think the gospel is central, has to be central, and then all I do, um, and it's got to be. front and center, and it's got a show. So I don't know that you can necessarily see it in the first book, but I do want to weave it into the story as we go, because all these guys are driven by something bigger than themselves, but their goal is to basically glorify God and help people that are trapped in sin and trouble and hardship, and they believe they need to be free, and they're going to put their lives on the line to make them free. So there's a lot of imagery about the gospel. Um, way down the road they go, and basically the formula is they go to an island and see that there's a problem, and they rescue the people on the island, that liberate the island, and there's always some sort of turmoil that's started by another party that you'll have to read the second book when it comes out and everything. But the the whole crux of it is, how do we free these people from this bondage? And they even mention this, the Lord can do it, but we're his tools. He's using us. Just imagery like, if somebody's in jail, they're they're behind bars, but the men come and rescue them, but all they have to do is open it. There's no lock to it, because they don't believe that they're free, but they have to be shown they're free, and there's nothing inhibiting them. So just, they're being coached, push it open and come with us. And so that's kind of the gospel in story form will be continually highlighted.
That is so beautiful. That is, I love that, because to me, that aligns with our mission, that because of what Christ has done for us, he died for our sins, and there was nothing we brought to the table except for our sin, but he had mercy on us, and that is our motivation for wanting to help other people. In our case, the severely mentally ill, who they can't bring anything to the table except for their need. Well, that's us, really. That's what we brought, and Christ had showed us mercy, so we want to show other people mercy. That's why I love the grit and I just love Captain No Eyes, and and I wanted it. I wanted the world. I want the world to get to know him too. So, um, Clint, that is so beautiful. And where can people find out more about Captain No Eyes? How could they purchase a book? And then there's also a special other thing. I'll let you tell about that goes along with the book.
Okay, yeah. They can go to our website, captainnoeyes.com, and they can purchase the book there. They can purchase the hardback book there, that will get mailed to them. We also have paperback books that they can buy as well, and uh, we're throughout the valley. My illustrator is selling books through the grocery store at Fry's, some Saturdays and other days, so they can pick it up there if they see it. But mainly going to our website is a great place to go to get what they're looking for. And that's captainnoeyes.com. And we're under No Eyes Publishing. That's kind of the company name that we're anchored under. And you said there was something else that you were wanting me to
So
share about
this cool thing right here.
Yes. Okay.
That my grandson thought this was just amazing. He thought had been given the most amazing treasure on earth when I gave him this.
That, I mean, I have one of those, and I love to carry it around. I mean, it's that is a challenge coin that actually has deep tradition in the military. That's given for merit, mostly from a commanding officer who respects someone underneath him or equal to him. And you just carry it around and show that you have one. And we're using that in Captain Noah's story. It's not in the first book, but the second book is kind of a reward system for the men that Captain Noah's uses. So the idea is um, the challenge coin is to show what they earn. So the next hero, there'll be a hero of the story that you find out his name at the end of the story. Captain Noah says, because you honored your namesake, you are awarded this coin. And it's a big celebratory thing. And it's something he earned. And the kids reading that book will be able to go online and get that same coin that character earned. And so that they can be like that character. So we introduced the challenge coin for this book, just kind of magnifying the ship and what the ship symbolizes about going out, putting yourself on the line, rescuing the innocent, and protecting the innocent. So this time the kids can grab that coin and say, I want to protect the innocent like Captain Noah and his men. And that they can be worthy of the coin as well. But just having something as a reminder. We all need reminders. We're I don't want to be fake to the kids and say we have it all together, but we're teaching the kids. We all need reminders to be outside of ourselves and to lift up our eyes and look at others and see what others need. And that's just the message that we want to get across in a tangible way with the coins. And the gospel can play a part in it as well. So
absolutely, that is amazing. That message is so needed. So needed. And you're right, as adults need to be reminded too. To Yes, exactly. And also you're if anyone is coming to this disability expo this Saturday in Scottsdale at Highlands Church, we have information. I'll put a link. There's information all over my social media on that. There's still time to register. Clint will be there with his books, and you can purchase them there and meet Clint and ask him more questions. And Clint is also is very funny and has a really good sense of humor. So you're going to see it in the book through Captain Millwise. But yeah, so anyway, you won't be disappointed. Well, thank you so much, Clint. Is there anything else you wanted to share before we closed it out?
yeah, I guess I think with the story that I built with my kids, the gospel is in the book because and will be in the books because for me it would have been a disservice to not show how the gospel plays out in daily life and the hope that they have in Jesus. So I wanted that to be plain, and I just don't. I want it to be. It'd be a disservice if I left it out with the books that I write using the same story, and I just want to make sure that if people are wondering, like, what is this, religious or what? It's a fun way to put it, but it's a disservice to leave Jesus out of all rescue, and because he is the rescuer, and we just are his people being used by him, and that's the story of Captain No Eyes.
That is awesome. That's amazing. And get yourself a copy of this book and follow along Clint's journey. I know you're busy and you have a full-time job and a family. So all of us wish we could be like tucked away in the woods somewhere and just be able to write, but that's not real life. But just follow the journey, because I think it's going to be great. And our kids need a hero like this. And P82 needs a hero like this. These are the kind of heroes that support our cause as well. And this is the cause we have is, it seems impossible, and it seems dangerous, and it's not, there's no path before us. We're actually forging a new path. And so um, I just love Captain Noai's courage, and that's the kind of courage we want to have on behalf of people that they literally have no voice. And
Yeah.
we, society can, or even churches can be afraid, and because they don't understand it, and it's not as scary as we think. And there are problems that seem insurmountable, but that's not an excuse to not try and not do it. So we're that's that's why I'm connecting with Clint on this book, and I hope you connect too, and share it with your kids and grandkids, because they'll love it. I know from experience.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure to be here.
Well, thanks for doing this. I know you're busy.